This is for you if you're finally ready to start trusting yourself. Hi, I'm Mory, intuitive life and leadership guide, and my purpose is to remind you about the part within you that holds every answer to any question you seek to know. Why is this important? Because when we understand that we are full of endless wisdom, it helps us understand our value. It helps us speak up and use our voice in the world, and it helps us get closer to our purpose. So I want you to watch this video and think about how much you trust that you hold the answers within you versus how much you might believe that other people have better guidance, better answers, and a better direction for your life than you do. Look, this is so important to me that we understand this part of us, because what is most important in the human experience is a real sense of empowerment. That you are walking this world as a human full of the knowledge that you are valuable, that you can hold your head up high with dignity, and that you are wise. That experience is going to allow you to suffer less and express yourself more. And that's what your soul wants more than anything. That's why you're here, for self-expression, for experience, and for growth, but to get more and more aligned to the truth of who you are. And self-trust is the mechanism to help you remember who you are. So what is it? It's really simple. And I want you to think about it in a few ways. First of all, self-trust is just the knowledge that your inner wisdom is more accurate when it comes to your life than other people's ideas, perceptions, opinions, or advice. Why is this so powerful? Because it makes you more self-reliant and less reliant on other people. Self-reliance creates this organic, ever-present, evergreen system in us that's always available to us. That means that you know that you're never going to get yourself in a situation that you can't find your own way out of. How powerful and freeing is that? When we know that, we're more likely to take risk in a positive way. We're more likely to pursue our dreams. We're more likely to chase our desires and our purpose, because we have this foundational knowledge that at the end of the day, I trust my own wisdom so much, I will always find the answer, even if it doesn't work out the way I want. The other really critical thing about self-trust is that it allows you to decipher between your truth and what people are projecting onto you. The limitations, the fears, the biases, the perceptions that others from their own limited selves project onto us. Those things can sometimes be mistaken by us as fact, as being true statements about our identity or our value. What self-trust says is, no, I know myself. I know myself, my value, my purpose, more than anyone else can fully know me. And if that is true, and I believe that, then I'm able to tell when someone is projecting something at me and it doesn't fit. It doesn't feel aligned to my truth. Why is this helpful to you? Because we're constantly, as relational beings, in situations, whether that's at work or in our romantic relationships or even with our friends, where people are projecting notions onto us. And in order to be in relationship with those people, we sometimes shrink to fit those limited notions. That limits your capacity at work, in those relationships, in your family, because suddenly you're becoming a smaller version of yourself to fit that other person's limited belief system. Being able to decipher between the two is monumental in your ability to fully express who you are and feel good about yourself. And then here's the last part. Self-trust is what allows you to construct a paradigm for your life. Paradigm just being a system we create of ideas and beliefs and decisions that guides us through our life. When you trust yourself, you build that paradigm from your inner wisdom. So think about it this way. Our ancestors built their homes in the environment with the materials that was available to them at the time. So if you lived in a place that was full of trees, you saw more homes made of wood. And if you lived in a place that was cold and full of ice, you saw homes built of ice. Those environments were able to sustain that foundation of that home because it was organic to the environment. So when you think about building a paradigm for your life, a rule book for your life on how you're going to make decisions, if it's built from within, it's built from the material that's organic to you and therefore sustainable throughout your life, something you can count on. When you build your life decisions based on someone else's paradigm, someone else's projection of what happy should look like or success should look like, it's inorganic to your system and it breaks down over time. So it's not sustainable for you. And that is when we see people say, I've tried self-help, but it doesn't work. Here's why. And if you feel that way, by the way, you're not alone. Self-help is a $5.6 trillion industry. $5.6 trillion. What we are finding is that more and more people are saying it doesn't work for them. BetterUp released a study a couple years ago that said 75% of people who have tried self-help strategies, books, paradigms, say it doesn't work. 82% of people in that study said there's too much advice out there. I can't decipher which piece of advice to follow. You know what that says to me as an intuitive guide who wants to remind you of your answers? We haven't been taught that the way to decipher is to check in first. So self-help is, in the analogy, like taking the material from another environment and trying to build a system that's inorganic because it's not coming from within. The other issue that can happen when we move towards self-help and not self-trust is that we can feel like we're not represented in it. I don't know if any of you relate with me, but this is the way that I have felt when I've looked at self-help as a whole. I haven't felt like I can fully see myself in it. I can't fully see myself in it as a child of immigrants who had a really specific experience in survival and beliefs around what it takes to thrive. I don't see myself in it as a woman of color often. I don't see myself in it as a business person or an entrepreneur or a leader sometimes. Self-help can be very reflective of a certain group of people. And more people are saying, I don't really see myself in this paradigm. But when the industry is so large and it tells you you should be helped by these rules, by this advice, that I have succeeded because I've followed this paradigm, and you don't fully see yourself in it, you know what you start to believe? You start to believe there's something wrong with you. Because if you try something that someone's telling you is foolproof and has taken them from rags to riches, and it doesn't work for you, then you believe you're broken. But what they're not saying is, this worked for me because it came from within me. And that's why it works. So I have decided that I am starting the self-trust revolution. The self-trust revolution rejects the notion that other people have better answers about my life than I do. The self-trust revolution rejects the idea that I am going to go seek advice before I first check in with my knowing, calm, grounded self and just get a sense of how I feel, what I really believe. When you do that, by the way, self-help could work for you because then you'll be able to decipher which of the ideas and tools really resonate and which just don't fit. And when you have self-trust, you're empowered enough to say, you know what? That's not for me. And that's okay. That doesn't mean I'm broken because I have so much trust in this internal system. Okay, so before we go today, I'm gonna give you 4 reframes to help you get started on this self-trust journey. And I'll be there doing it with you, by the way, because every human being, including those of us that teach these concepts, can take 3 steps forward and 10 steps back. And that is also okay. But here are your 4 reframes. Reframe number 1. I will start by checking in with my own internal wisdom before seeking advice. Simple little ways you can do this. Next time you need to make a decision, take a deep breath. And when you take a deep breath and say to your consciousness, I want to connect to the part of me that holds all of the answers I seek. I promise you that part of you is there. All you have to do is detect it. So take a deep breath and just say, I want to connect to this part, and see what that part of you has to say about the decision you have to make. It can be a thought, it can be a feeling, it can be a memory, but just pay attention to what you're getting from in here first before you ask someone else their advice. Reframe number 2. When I hear advice or guidance that doesn't sit right with me, I will trust that internal nudge. That same part of your system that holds the answers, it also knows when the things you're hearing are not what's in your highest good or do not fit your organic system. So part of building self-trust is starting to trust the part of you that says, nope, this is not for me. And by the way, that is different from fearing guidance that is good for you. Fear has a contracted energy. The way you'll know that the no is coming from an intuitive place is when it's just a calm, no, this doesn't sit right with me. And that is okay. Reframe number 3, I look for evidence for how listening to my inner wisdom, my intuition in the past, has led to the very best outcome for me. We are tangible beings. We like evidence, and our brains need evidence to create new pathways, new possibilities. So as you begin to nurture your relationship with self-trust, I want you to start to look for evidence of where you followed your intuition, where you followed your knowing, and things ended up better than you expected. And listen, I do not mean that it worked out in the timing you expected. That's a whole different deal. Our egos believe that we can control how things come about. That means we're not working in collaboration with the universe. The how is less of your concern than the what. So when you're looking for evidence, I want you to look for how following your inner wisdom eventually led to the best outcome for you. Don't worry about the timing. And here's your last reframe. This new paradigm of self-trust takes a lot of faith and a lot of belief in yourself. And these aren't always skills we've been taught, because remember, we've grown up, most of us, in a society that says other people hold more wisdom. The answers are out there, not in here. So there's a lot of unlearning to do, which means I'm going to give myself grace when the fear part of me or the old training that says someone knows better than I do gets picked up. And I might sometimes not check in first. I might sometimes follow someone's advice when it doesn't sit well with me. I'm going to forgive myself because I'm learning a new process that I haven't had a lot of experience in. And believe me, guys, I'm there with you. I've written about this. I teach it. I'm human. I can take 3 steps forward and 10 steps back in this whole realm of self-trust too, because of the limiting beliefs that I hold. So have grace for yourself when it takes time. But when you do these little things, you're going to notice little changes. Just pay attention to them and start to watch yourself change your relationship with your own inner wisdom, which is going to make you hear it more loudly, and see what happens. I'm so glad I got to share this knowledge with you. It's been sitting in here. It wants to make its way to you. I'm so excited that we now have this channel of communication. So thank you for watching this video, and there will be plenty more to come. So subscribe below for more tools on how you can cultivate this relationship with yourself and fully join me in the self-trust revolution.